Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Ghosts and Spirits Encounters video. Once again, I'm mixing another one of these in here while I'm continuing with your cryptids and monster suggestions. Please keep them coming. I'm going to go ahead and do a few more throughout the next couple of weeks. This one comes from the reddit.com website, but they're from a new subreddit called Ask Reddit. That's when some of the users were posting information about the creepiest encounters they've ever had. And when I was reading this one here, I thought to myself, this is definitely a prime opportunity to share it here on my channel to just show how freaky and creepy this encounter was. I still don't know if it's ghosts or spirits related or if it's something else involving the world, or maybe even cryptids and monsters. Let me know in the comments below what you guys and gals think, but I definitely wanted to showcase it here because of its uniqueness, about the originality associated with it. But it comes from a user by the name of CapPinBuck. There is no title, as it was simply just an actual post. So I'm going to go ahead and just state it and call it as the protective spirit from Virginia Beach. So let's go ahead and let's talk about this very, very unusual encounter. It's a little long one, but it's well worth it. And then that way you'll get to see some of the information that I found very fascinating about it. So here's what the user states. A place called Shore Drive in Virginia Beach. That's where this happened. I met a lady that called herself a protective spirit and said she could take us to see ghosts. I'm not sure if she actually called that though. And so being young and full of life, we didn't believe, but we were down for the fun. I remember it being a divided road, 2 lanes on both sides, and the speed limit was 35 miles per hour. It was night, maybe 11-ish, and we pulled the van off the road. The only thing she said before we got out was when she said it was time to go, then we would have to calmly get back in the van. Now, the woods were about 20 feet from the road, and after about 5 minutes, there was a glowing orb that after a few seconds took the shape of a person. It was a silhouette, a lightly glowing white orb, and it was pacing back and forth. It could see us as we were seeing it. After a minute or so, another orb came off of its leg, and this time it took the shape of another person, but crouched down, walking on its hands and feet. The lady who called herself a protective spirit was dry heaving the whole time. It was at this point that she told us to then get in the van, and we did so calmly. We were going the speed limit, and as we were driving, one of them, in other words the orbs, was walking in a tree line but matching our speed. And so we hit the first property line right after the woods, and then it disappeared, almost like hitting a wall. She later told us there was an unidentified demon in those woods, and it had been collecting souls, and to never go back without her. I remember there being a road sign put up that said X amount of people have died here since a certain day. To this day, I've never been back, and I've never been able to find anything else about this place online, but I'll never forget the experience. Now, this user ended up posting more comments about their experience, and I'm going to share them here. This is because it was so richly detailed that lots of other users on Reddit were asking for more information. So this is one of their responses. The quote-unquote protective spirit lady, her name was Crystal. She told us stories for a couple of hours before she took us out there. We were young and kind of laughing at her while listening. One of the stories I remember was when she said her mom found her as a newborn, talking in full sentences to someone in the dark of her crib. And so we were laughing. She also said she had met the devil and that he was the most handsome man you could imagine. I thought she was crazy as blank, but you could see in her eyes that she believed it. I don't know what else to tell. There's just a little bit more that I can remember, but this experience changed my life forever. I don't know whatever happened to her, and my friend who I was with is no longer in touch. We caught up about 6 years ago, and his story was slightly different. I wonder how much he has lost over to memory. I never asked, and for some reason, if he still sees them, he hasn't let me know. Then here's the user stating one more follow-up from another inquiry, and this is what they said. I wish I did. I had a buddy about 10 years ago that found a pic of that sign and a couple of mysterious headlight stories. Nothing seemed like what I saw, but the thread ended abruptly. I seriously wish I knew more about that place. The guy had like 5 posts and said he was going to file them next week. It was 3 years after my buddy found that post that I saw it, and that was the last post that I ever saw related to it. I always thought if I saw a ghost or whatever, that I'd be out of there at an instant out of fear, but it was like watching a lion in a zoo. I knew it was dangerous, but it couldn't hurt me. The way that the orb paced seemed like it wanted to. I'm grateful for the experience, but I felt it opened up some blank. When I'm very down, I still feel them, meaning the orbs. It's been 15 years. Haven't shared this with many, but be careful chasing. They will leave with you. And then finally, this is the very last one that the user responded to. Again, talking about that location. They said, I remember woods that night were deeper than you could see. Ghosts makes kind of sense to me, but when the second one appeared, its knees were now over its shoulders. I wish I could explain it better, but no human could move like that. Ghosts or spirits of the dead don't seem to place it. I've never been very religious, but these seemed very demonic. Then that's it. That's everything from this user, Captain Buck, about their encounter. So let's talk about that here. Pretty freaky stuff. I remember reading this and it was at night, and then I just got the chills when I was doing so, because here you have a situation where this user, presumably with a friend, were on a place, I guess on vacation or maybe even for work, who knows. They decided to go on a ghost hunt. And then lo and behold, as they were around that place, they met this woman. Who knows how they met her? Who knows if it was something online, if it was something that they read in a paper that said it was about 15 years ago. But either way, they met her there. It wasn't just by like pure chance. It seemed like it was a prearranged meeting. And then she was there. She called herself a protective spirit, and eventually her name was revealed as Crystal. So she knew that place, wherever this was, over by Virginia Beach. And she knew that that's where it was a location where they would see ghosts. And so she took them there, but on the precaution that if she said it was time to go, it was time to go. And then that's when they would leave. And so they went over to that specific spot, went 20 feet away from the road after they parked. And then that's when they saw that first glowing orb. That was really creepy for me, because the idea that you could go right there to a spot and it's almost a guaranteed chance that you're going to see this ghost, it means like it's stuck there, like it can't leave, or it wants to leave and tries to leave, but it needs something in order to make that happen. So here you have a situation where they're there and they all of a sudden it announces its presence to them right on cue. And then on top of that, it creates another ghost, another silhouette, a ghostly orb. This time though, instead of it being a regular person, it was a person looking thing, but it was now crouched. And as the user later stated afterward, its knees were above its head, almost like it had really, really long legs when they were bent downward. But that's at that point, that's when this, I guess, protective spirit lady, this crystal lady, she decided it was time to leave. Like she knew that they had gone there and they were at a dangerous point, and so she told them to leave and they left. But then the next creepy thing happened, and that was these orbs, one of them deciding to chase them. It followed them and it matched their speed right there, right next to the side of the road as the van was driving away. Like that is a big no for me. Like I'm speeding and going as quickly as possible. Doesn't matter how much the speed limit is at that point. You want to get the hell out of there. And that's what this thing was doing. But once it actually hit a certain area, it just disappeared. The user stated it was almost like hitting a wall. It just outright just went gone, and then it was never seen again. But the user thinks that something followed them afterward, because whenever they're in a down area, a down feeling of sorts, then that's when they feel like this thing is still there. Now, some of the other posts were kind of commenting on that as well. They felt that this set of orbs, these demons, as this user stated, might have followed them home, which is in of itself pretty freaky altogether. But either way, though, other users were asking, where was it? Where was this location? It was almost like they wanted to be able to go see it themselves. There was a couple of of spots here and there where this user Captain Buck posted an area close to it, but they never said it exactly because again, it was 15 years ago. They didn't know the place. All they knew is just some specific points here and there, but it seems like people were trying to narrow it down to try to experience it themselves. That's a big nope for me as well. I kind of know my limits when it comes to ghost hunting. I've gone on ghost hunts, obviously with my group, and then I've gone with other tour guides, even in other places around Texas. When I've gone on vacation or for work purposes, sometimes I find these tours online that are there, and you can book a tour, and then that way you're able to see the location from a local perspective, and those have been fun. So I can see why this user was doing it. But if I had heard this story about these orbs that are mostly demonic related or something evil related, I wouldn't take it that far. That would be something where it's, no, I don't want to chance it. Like, why? Why have something like that happen? Why risk it if there's the idea that they could do something else afterward? The user even stated that they knew it was a dangerous situation, but they still kind of went altogether. But who knows what this lady was like, because he never saw her again, never heard from her again. Was she something else, a natural person or some other presence? Who knows? But either way, they were able to do this tour, and it completely changed their life afterward. To this day, again, 15 years later, he stated, haven't shared this with many, but be careful doing this chasing, meaning ghost hunting, because they will leave with you, implying that these things are still with him to this very day. Creepy stuff. But let me know what you guys and gals think. I definitely wanted to share this one once I saw it because of its uniqueness. And otherwise, if you've gone ghost hunting, if you've had similar encounters, post them in the comments below. All right, everyone. Thanks again as always. Take care.